The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome, everybody, to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour. With me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more into the breach do we go, dear friends. As always, we come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And what do we have going on? Well, we got the Fed coming out, and there used to be a thing in software, especially in the 80s, where people would announce software. In fact, Word, the Office suite, Word, Excel, all that stuff, Outlook, had been announced, I think, in 85. Actually, and they said it was coming out in 3 months. It actually came out 3 years later. And it was real soon now, vaporware. And I think just from the first little inference out here from the dollar, we're getting a lot of, at least the currency is saying, bovine excrement on your real soon now. I think we'll probably gain back a lot of this. But at least at first blanch, they think that all the jawboning is just that. That's the risk that the Fed has always had, in the fact that they are very much the Fed that cried wolf. But what are we off? 50 cents off the high on the dollar index. 101.21 is what I show. But we will see what this does in a little bit. But, it probably a little overreaction. My guess is that most of the action that we've seen in the dollar in the last few weeks and months, maybe since the election is, and even before that, has been the one lever that the government has to really control the economy. And when it tends to get a little overheated, they let the dollar go up. Other than that, they spend a great deal of the day to keep the dollar down. As soon as they let off, man, does this thing whip back higher. And, of course, if you're looking for confirmation in any of this, we'd probably just go right over to the TLT and take a look. Now, if we were at 122 or something right now, I think maybe that would be a much bigger indication that this is something more than transitory. It's going to last the rest of the afternoon, and everybody will forget about it tomorrow. So maybe something happens before the end of the day. But if the TLT closes up about 34 cents, 40 cents at the end of the day, I don't think we're seeing any more signal than we've seen in the last few weeks, where every signal leads to another false breakout, and every other negative signal leads to a false breakdown, and we come right back around in this mid-101 area as probably the most likely support for the dollar. Anyway, 2361 on the S&P cash, off 4 points. I think a lot of people were thinking that, especially in the financials, we're looking rather weak. We'll get to one of those charts, a couple of those charts. But some of the financials had been testing previous highs on light volume, so we'll get into that today. And in the meantime, you can give me 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com or post a message in the den. What else do we have going on out here? Well, why don't we just get to our history? We'll get through that. We'll get through some news, and then we'll look at some charts. 4.5 points on the S&P cash volume, about 100 million lighter than this time yesterday at 2.12 billion shares.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
And what do we have going on today? on this day in 1990. With the benefit of hindsight, maybe Grammy Awards that members of the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences wish they could take back. But there's only one that it actually has ever, and that is the Best New Artist Grammy that was awarded to the fraudulent dance act Milli Vanilli on this day in February 22nd, 1990. And in the land of things that seem to be true and don't, this one was, I don't know. This is kind of one of these things in music, which I love music, but when you got to do all the yelling and singing and dancing and running up and down stairs and everything, my guess is they're probably not that great of musicians to begin with. Better forgot. And as we move on, after the bell tonight, Adaptus Health Incorporated, Bankrate, Bluebird Bio, Boston Beer, cereal malt beverages, Cheesecake Factory, Jack in the Box, L Brands, Square, and Tesla. And what else do we have going on out here? That's about it for the news. There's just not much going on out here. We're waiting for more signals. We'll go to some of the bigger ones out here and the stocks that are actually moving. We'll try to go through as many of these as we can today. ACCO Brands, ACCO being the symbol, retesting its December 16th high that had 1 million shares today on a nice little bounce out here. Pretty much the same volume right now. So it looks like this one could break out with higher volume, so keep an eye on it. CALA, Cathera Biosciences, it's down a little bit. I won't bring up much on that. Also breaking a little higher today is Mobileye, but giving a great deal of that back. Volumes picked up a bit. It's back into a gap. Keep an eye on this one as it closes today. Newfield expiration down on heavy volume back into the previous low. NFX is a symbol on this one, down on 8 million shares compared to the February 8th low of 2 million shares. So you could see this thing coming back through that. But that's pretty much where support has been. And this is going to probably break through almost all of that support level. 33.54 going back to May 4th of 2016. Looks like the next support level on that one. NLS, which is Nautilus. I think they had earnings out last night, down with a ton of volume. Again, blowing through all the support area in the $15 and $16 range that goes back a year. If you go back 2 years, you'll find the September 28th, 2015 low at $13.82. But looks like you got all the volume. This is not a big, heavy volume stock, but 2 million shares compared to maybe 500,000 on a big day typically. Says everything you want. 1382 would be the next target on it. NYMT, which is New York Mortgage and Trust, down on heavy volume today. $5.54 is the untested September 12th low on this. You got a lot of volume. It got down to 605 and it's bounced a little, but a lot of volume out here. I would say 554 would be the next target on that one. Oh, we're already going into the break. We will be back. Got a few more to look at here. Some from earnings. We'll be talking pizza when we come back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
I grew up in a place where the most common saying about the weather is, if you don't like it, give it 10 minutes, it will change. That was a pretty pithy statement back then in my teen years, and I think very apropos to the market now. That is, no real trend lasts very long before someone steps in on the other side of the market, either up or down. But we're off, 3.5 points on the S&P cash. Volume did pick up a little bit, but not that much. Still under 2.2 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape. So all the yelling and screaming about the Fed minutes seem to have calmed down for the moment, including if we go back to the TLT. If this is right, we were at 120.82 for a brief second. Now 120.30. So again, pretty tight ranges in some of these things. I'll wait for the dollar to calm down a little bit and see if we get a little bit more out of it. My guess is, like I said, I'm not getting too much on my high hopes, thinking that we're actually going to get some kind of trend that's going to change in either the bonds or the dollar, in the next 30 minutes. Stranger things have happened. My guess is that all the fury in action will go right back to the way it was before 2 o'clock. What else do we have going on out here? We were talking about pizza, and Papa John's dropped the chalupa, and I don't know what else you can say about it. Missed by about 2%, which isn't all that much, but you've got just a lot of action in this one. A lot of stocks really priced for perfection, and certainly Papa John's was. There's a handful of other ones, especially in technology now, that can't even afford to probably not outperform. If they don't have decent breaks above their earnings for both revenues and earnings, I suspect you're going to see similar action to Papa John's. And, of course, Domino's, DPZ, I think it's off on sympathy. Now everybody's kind of worried about this one, so it kind of came down. Not as much volume yet, but I think earnings is coming up on that one too. People a little wigged out. Other stocks of interest, Rio down 1.5%. Probably the most interesting thing to me is just, it's gappy to begin with, but probably one of the bigger gaps, but not a lot of volume out here in Rio Tinto today. You would love for this thing to get down to $39.50 for the next buy point if it could get there. Red Robin, one of the better burger places because they put their burgers out with cereal malt beverages of all kinds of tasty types. This one, a nice little gap up today. Really not through, though, the highs of the 13th of February. And if this comes back into the trading range, kind of a sign of weakness, actually, that these could not hold that. What else was what I was thinking about it? What's the other one? That's cereal malt beverages. Sam's, that's what it was, wasn't it? SASM, I think they had earnings too. Not a big deal. Or were they after the bell? Was that the one I was talking about, after the bell tonight? Yeah, they're after the bell tonight. Sam's Boston Beer. Not the same thing, but very interesting. I just like the chart pattern out here. Gap down with some fairly decent volume of about 200,000 shares back on the 9th of January. It's now filled that gap. Did so with about the same volume out here, and just kind of gone sideways the last couple of days after earnings. Siri, a little bounce out here today. I would be watching on this one to see if you don't get a lower open tomorrow and get an abandoned baby out on this one. Very tough to figure out how this company's ever really going to make money as everybody continues to shift to the internet delivered audio instead of the satellite. My thought is maybe I'm going to have to look at this, but maybe it's worth a lot of money just for that spectrum that they have on and those satellites. Maybe just the underlying technology and the licenses from the FCC to broadcast direct data from their satellites may be more important than any kind of underlying business on that one. So it may be a little counterintuitive on that one. SPWR is Sun Power Company. This one is had a couple of nice days. A little doji out here today, so not much. STM, which is STM Microelectronics, another little gap higher out here today. Volume's pretty good, so I wouldn't say that there's any signal that this one says it's rolling over. Toll Brothers had earnings out before the bell, and everybody is thinking that if they don't buy a house now, they never will. Even with slightly higher interest rates, the clarion call to buy now apparently is hit a fever pitch, and Toll Brothers slightly moving up the downside of the low end of their projections. I think a lot of people were already short this going into earnings, and I think what you're seeing here is a lot of short covering. I'd be more interested to see how this stock acts in 3 days from now. TRCO, which is Tribune Media Company, it has another nice little gap up here, but it's gone right to this double gap. If I was long this thing, I would be pulling the ripcord on this one right now. Your first gap up happened on the 3rd of January. Your next gap happened down with basically 2.7 million shares on the 11th. You're right back up to that. So kind of the easy money in this one, actually well over. TripAdvisors, this thing, of course, got punished on earnings. It is back down to its previous low. It looks like it's going to exceed the previous low volume also of December 22nd that had 2.67 million shares, through it with 2.8 million shares already. Texas Roadhouse, I think earnings after the bell last night. In another one in the food business that dropped, the big chalupa, down on monstrous volume. The next big low is $37.09 from the October 5th low. You got a couple of strong bars out here. This is where support's going to be, but I can't imagine this thing not hitting 37 138.09, that October 5th low, before I would touch it. This goes back to a gap up of the, February 23rd, 2016, that had 5.3 million shares. So, you got 6.5 million shares already. Man, this, I don't think I could touch this thing unless it hit 37 bucks on light volume. And even then, I suspect it's going to need some consolidation down at those levels. Unilever, of course, all the takeoff talk, this thing's just bouncing around. Big bounce back up today after the initial bounce and buyout hour offer, and then the, what would you call it? The rejection of the offer, and then maybe they sweeten the pot today. These stocks will wear you out. We come back. UTHR, United Therapeutics. Ooh, watch out below for falling prices.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped, and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
United Therapeutics beat profit forecast, but earnings, revenues down, forecast not looking all that great. So it's down. It's got some volume, not as bad as some of the others that got shellacked out here, like the pizza group, but kind of headed back for this gap that's at about 137. that comes from the December 15th gap up. You had 780,000 shares. You've got what 1 million shares already today. It's not the worst thing in the world, but certainly I'm going to say that gap looks like the first decent sign of support back on December 15th. WMGI, nice little gap up. Right Medical Group, decent gap. Would have liked to seen a lot more volume than we had today on this one. It's not a big monster volume stock to begin with, but million and a half shares is fine. 2.6 million shares today, but I would have liked to have seen maybe a little bit more and a bigger candle. Wolverine Worldwide is going back into this gap that started on the 17th of September 17th of 2015. This thing gapped down with 3.9 million shares. We're getting back in there today with 700,000 shares. You've got just a little bit more to touch that gap. You've tried it twice, first with 2 million shares, second time with 800,000 shares. We're in here with about 700,000 shares today. So you're not really looking at a very strong move out here. And this is not an unfamiliar pattern. This thing needs a volume, and it needs it soon. It needs to break through this gap at 26. My guess, though, is this thing is pretty much out of gas. Trading range probably back down into the mid-20s. XPO was this XPO Logistics. Nice spike out here today, but gave almost all of it back and back into the trading range that we've had here. Let's zoom in just a little bit more. Back into this trading range from December 9th at 49.86, 1.6 million shares. You had 2 million shares as you got to it on the 15th, and you had some nice volume. Should have been able to break out. What you should have been able to do today, though, with 4 million shares is certainly hold the 49.86 high of that December 9th. This looks like it's just going back into the trading range. Okay, what else do we have of interest? We'll go from some of these other ones that I've been looking at. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at pat@tfnn.com. And we'll talk more about that. Got a couple of emails already. But email me at pat@tfnn.com or call at 877-927-6648. Aether system looks like it's ready to come back and test its low of $1.02 from January 27th. I'm not going to spend that much time on a dollar stock. Bats, little gap down on this one today. I just dislike that this thing never really has had a big volume day to speak of above the September 23rd gap higher. This thing's kind of had some volume on some days where it went nowhere, mostly options expiration. Other than that, you just really haven't had that much. No sign that this thing is done, but a little gap down, no volume out here today. BAX, which is Baxter International. This one, last time, almost 10 million shares on October 25th at $50 and a penny. Got through that yesterday with 3 million shares. Tried to spike through that today with just 1 million shares today. So you got to keep a close eye on BAX. Blue, which is Bluebird Bio, as I said, after the bell tonight, they are right up against this. They went against the previous December 6th high of 2.2 million shares at 79.80. Went through it on February 15th with 1 million shares and it pulled back into the trading range. Again, I'm not going to be holding any of these stocks through earnings long. There's a little upside, and some of these are absolutely I didn't pick out the individual ones, but man, a lot of these stocks, if they whiff wrong, have a huge amount of loss. I think it's not a lot of times that you can find 10 or 20 stocks that have the ability to drop 30% in a day. But there are a lot of them out there. I mean, very risky business models, making no money, spending money hugely, and all they have to do is whiff. and finally get rid of a lot of the people that have been pushing the stocks up, even way beyond the underlying fundamentals. These things whiff, they could turn on a heartbeat. BNC Bancorp. As I said, there are at least a couple of these bankers out here are kind of whiffing at highs. January 27th, 552,000 shares at $36.92. This kind of come right up to it. A little doji out here today with just 145,000 shares. Maybe the Fed that cried wolf may put a little bit into the financials out here unless they put up instead of shutting up. Back into the gap today is Galectin Therapeutics, GALT. I'm going to classify it as a penny stock. It's under $5. Big gap down. This thing has come right back to this double gap at $1.80. That's where you would want to have been out. I don't think you can really bet on much more. HCP, this one's getting back into its gap. 32.50 on light volume would be an interesting short on this one, although I think there are better plays out there. Health South Corporation testing its previous high with volume yesterday, up 25%, but right back into the trading range again today on December 21st, 42.70 with 1 million shares. Yesterday, 1.26 million shares to 43.11, but today right back into the trading range. Not a lot of volume so far. ICLR, is it? Icon did break out of the October 24th high at 84.74, went above it on the 16th, spiked it again on the 17th, right back in. So we've got a lot of stocks out here that are kind of whiffing on light volume, breaking out, popping right back into the trading range, which is not a good sign on these things. Like I said, a lot of stocks whiffing at highs, and especially some of these valuations are astronomical. Investor Bank Corp, ISBC, the January 27th spike took it to 14.93 with 8 million shares. Been kind of going into that yesterday with 1.14 million shares today to 770,000 shares. So again, pretty lofty valuations and rarefied air is the best way I can say. Leidos Holdings, LDOS. This one breaking highs again. The December 6th high came in 1.85 million shares, 52.58. Got through that yesterday with this 700,000 shares. Today, 610,000 shares. Again, kind of keep a look at a lot of these that are just kind of whiffing up here on volume without much action. We'll be back. Make sure and give me a call. I'll answer the email in the next section.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And have a question. When I said a lot of stocks could lose 30%, I don't think it's out there anymore, but at least the data. Because Microsoft bought it. But LinkedIn, I think it was printing, if I remember right, I wish I could just look it up. I think it was printing like 288 and opened the next day at 190. There's a lot of stocks that are way, way, way over the tips of their skis. And you don't know if it's going to be this quarter or next quarter. But these things with astronomical valuations could be much like that LinkedIn. What did LinkedIn go back down to? I think it was like 110 or 120 off that 280 or 290 high. So it lost 2/3 or whatever it is, got back up and bought at 190 or 200. There are a lot of companies out there that are kind of like that. LinkedIn, very interesting example because they basically figured out that without the scale of even a bigger company, like Microsoft, that they probably wouldn't be able to beat through the noise that maybe Facebook would have. A lot of companies are like that. They're just, unless you're hooked to Amazon's or Google or Microsoft or some of these other companies, especially when it comes to being well-known and needed, problematic. But like I said, a lot of these stocks, just when you look at them, you look at the EPSs, just remember a whole bunch, remind me a whole bunch of LinkedIn, which is not a bad company, but astronomically priced stocks that if you even get a whiff of these things rolling over, could be death. And I would not be surprised to see some stocks down 30, 40% after earnings in the next couple of months because these things are just priced ludicrously. And all you got to do is just even whiff because these things, the EPSs are so high. So can you play them before? I wouldn't be holding them long through earnings is what I'm saying, especially a lot of the tech stocks and the biotech stocks. Both of those look to me like those could have huge punishment after hours in earnings. PRAH. PRA Health Sciences. We talked about this one a little bit. Very light test of the November 9th high at 900,000 shares, $60.96. Went through it and peaked through it yesterday, 61.50. Closed right back into the trading range, down again today. Volume actually even picking up. Red Hat, another one breaking above its previous high. Let's find out what earnings is on this. I think it's coming up pretty soon. Okay, March 20th. It's breaking above its September 22nd high at 82.73 with 7.8 million shares. Yesterday we had 2 million shares. Today just 1 million shares. So there's more than a few of these stocks out here that are walking on thin ice, as we can say. SAP, the German Oracle. Someone slapped my hand last time when I said the German Microsoft. They're probably closer to Oracle than Microsoft, but they still have some elements of Microsoft in them too. This one has gapped above the September 22nd high in SAP. And again, this one's a ADR, so you're going to get a lot of smaller gaps in this thing. September 22nd, 92.76, 1.82 million shares. It got through that so far with 500,000 shares today. So again, I'm not getting a lot of warm and fuzzies as a lot of these stocks breaking to higher highs are not doing so with gusto. I guess Sam Adams probably wouldn't like me saying that because I think, wasn't Gusto another beer commercial? Don't we just live in a world of beer commercials? Starwood Properties, $22.97 is the September 7th high. It had 3.3 million shares. Got into that yesterday with just 2 million shares. This is actually a bigger long-term gap in this that you go back to this monster gap down when the thing blew apart. This goes back to what? The February 3rd of 2014. It's taken all this time to come back up here and fill this gap. Energy has been pretty good off this February 11th low. I don't think this is a short, but man, if you were long this thing, this is it. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be pulling and ringing the register as this thing breaks 23 bucks on light volume at about the fourth time without anything. Stanley Black & Decker trying to get to its recent high of 128.77. January 30th, this had 1.1 million shares. You actually had kind of that kind of volume into it yesterday. It's up just a little higher today with light volume. I bet this thing's got earnings also on the brain. Let's see when the earnings is coming out on this one. April 19th. That's a little bit farther down the road. So I think they were one of the earlier ones out here on earnings. Not a lot of stocks coming back out here and making some nice consolidation patterns, but this one is Therapeutics MD. TXMD is the symbol on this one. This is exactly what you would like to see, except a little bit too much energy on this last leg. You may get a little bit more, but $5.40, $5.38 has been some tremendous support on this one. You're getting a little bit of the energy out each time. This thing goes kind of sideways here a little bit more. You'd probably want to see this thing go sideways. I mean, very narrow ranges for 5-7 days. We may even be into the first 2 days of that. But this thing goes sideways at $5.50 for 10, 14 days. Keep an eye on it. Nice move back up to $7.34 or $7.48 would be very interesting to me on that one. A nice percentage gainer on a $5.50 stock possibility anyway. Vantage Holdings, a nice return to whence it came, which is this gap up that goes back to September 14th of 2016. It's back down into it. This first gap came up on 4.2 million shares. He kind of came back with 3.6 million shares yesterday. Light volume today. Again, another one that probably is going to consolidate around this $6 range. If it does so on light volume, maybe fills a little bit more of this down to about $5.80. Continues on light volume, might be interesting. This, of course, is another one of the voice over internet protocol companies. Probably just in a bigger range between $7 and $5.80, something like that. So again, some of these may be some nice trend ranges setting up on some of these. Wells Fargo, we were talking about how banks probably calling bovine excrement on the Fed, always saying we're going to do it real soon now, real soon now, real soon now, and there's no beef. Where's the beef? Well, there's no beef. So Wells Fargo, it's here at the party. $58.02, the December 8th high that had 40 million shares. Tried to peek through it a few days ago on 25 million shares, kind of pushing today on 8.5 million shares, but not a lot of people wanting to buy above this level unless we see higher interest rates.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And hopefully we have Ron in Denver on the line. Do we?
Yeah, David, I was wondering if you would take a look at Priceline, and I don't know if I'm thinking right, but I was thinking that when Trump puts his new executive order, on a ban on the new 7 Muslim countries again, I would think that's got to hurt travel, and I think it's got to put hotels at risk around the world. I don't know, and I just wondered, I don't know if that would affect Priceline, but I also just thought maybe is the stock running into resistance up here?
It is, but I don't think it has anything to do with Trump. To me,
Okay.
This is almost nothing to do with Trump and everything to do with the Brexit. You're going to have a lot of countries, and it looks to me this year both France and probably Norway and the Dutch, and the Netherlands. A lot of these people are more than ready to leave the EU. And, you got England already leaving.
Yeah.
And I think
France
will the day after Marine Le Pen wins I think it's in March, in April or May. But I just over the weekend looking at those. So to me, the bigger thing is not that, but the exchange rates. Priceline, if you actually figure out and listen to the earnings call, the way that they make money is not much on airline fares. They make a little. It's almost all on selling additional packages and hotel reservations and rental cars and a bunch of add-ons, right? Very little actually on airlines themselves. And I think what you could see, especially next year, is a little bit of turmoil around the EU, and that could cause a great deal of them not to come here and a great deal of us not to go there. So to me, the 7 countries are probably 1% of Priceline's business that you mentioned.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking in terms of
I think 90% of their profit is the far west European countries coming here and Americans going there. And anything that hit that would be what I would worry about. So don't think much about that.
I was thinking possibly of the, retaliation in some of the hotels around the world, not on those 7 countries, but just around the world.
I don't think it. Nah, I mean,
that's a factor. Okay.
Yeah, I mean the presidents have done it before. The only difference
is it too soon? Yeah, is it too soon to think
the only
about
difference
buying a
now
put
is, huh?
Is it too soon to think of buying a put going out about 30, 40, and 30, 60 days on it here?
You know what? This is one of these companies that evaluations, and one of these misses could, drop this stock $200. So to me, the problem is going to be, and in the past, the same thing, which is you're going to have puts on earnings. And I was looking on earnings, its earnings date coming up. This thing hardly ever moves to the downside other than that. But you got earnings February 27th. So I haven't looked at the actual price of them. In the past, it's been rather expensive. But what you would probably, if I was looking at this, I'd have to go back and look at them. But I'd probably buy, if I could get for like $1 or the 1550s puts or something, because if this thing whiffs, it's going to be $100, $200, $300.
Yeah.
And so I would probably, we're running out of time, but we'll talk more about this tomorrow. You don't need to do anything today. But I would probably be looking at it April and May and some puts that are way out of the money. Okay?
Okay.
We'll talk.
Appreciate that. Thanks.
Remember to sell when you can, not when you have to, and we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.